Good morning to you, Kristi Gordon. And what are we expecting today?
Well, it's rain. Basically, it's very simple. You don't have to think too much about this one. Jen, so we've already seen anywhere from 10 to 15, 16 millimeters of rain across the region, and we have a ton more on the way. We are expecting the rain to be heavy throughout the day today. That means reduced visibility on the roads, pooling water on the roads. Travel will be difficult today. This isn't a classic atmospheric river. It's not reaching all the way down to Honolulu, for example. What it is bringing, though, is really potent, a potent storm. So we're talking about a lot of moisture for the region. So we have a number of areas that are under our warnings, but I just want to quickly mention that we are seeing snowfall across the central interior regions and some parts of the southern interior. The freezing level definitely dropped to the valley bottom, but it's going to quickly rise throughout the day. Most areas looking at just a rain event during the day. These are the areas that are under a rainfall warning, and I'll show you how much we're expecting. Up to 130 millimeters for the outer coast of Vancouver Island, 110 for the North Shore Mountains and out through the Fraser Valley. This is substantial because it's a 48-hour event. We're expecting the rain right till the end of the day on Monday. So this is definitely substantial and something to take note of. But Environment Canada is saying that they're only anticipating some localized low-lying flooding. In terms of this weather statement, though, this is new from Environment Canada about the Kootenay Pass area because we're going to see substantial snowfall today change over to rain. So this is major in terms of a lot of moisture and now a lot of snowmelt. As conditions warm up tomorrow and we continue with that rainfall, it is going to be a slushy mess on the roads. So certainly be very diligent when you're out on the roads today and tomorrow, because despite the fact that temperatures are going to warm up and most areas are looking at just rainfall, it will be quite messy indeed. Okay, Jen, back to you.
Good morning to you. It's drizzly and rainy out there, just like here.
It is, yes, absolutely. So it's taking over the basically 2/3 of the province, as you can see. It's only the far northern regions that are in the clear, Jen, today. We're talking about rainfall for coastal regions and a lot of snow for inland regions, although we're starting to see temperatures warm up. Southern interior transitioning to snow, but these are the temperatures out there. So still snow in the central interior regions, but that will quickly transition to rain as well. So this is not really an atmospheric river, but it is going to bring in a surge in freezing levels. We're talking about 130 millimeters for the outer coast, 110 for Metro Vancouver. This is during a 48-hour period. It includes what we saw last night, what we will continue to see throughout the day today and Monday. Heaviest rain will be through the day today. So we're talking about concerns for travel because we're pooling water on the roads, reduced visibility, and also slushy conditions. But this is what we're classifying as an AR2, which is mostly beneficial, but there could be some hazards, and those hazards would be some low-lying flooding. In terms of that freezing level, how did I skip past that graphic? Well, okay, let me talk about this one because I can't back up, and I'll show you it coming up on the next one. But basically what we're talking about is significant snow for the mountain passes today, except for the sea to sky. It will be rainfall today, and then the freezing levels will really climb tomorrow. We're not expecting as much moisture tomorrow, but it will still be rain, and because we're going to have so much snow on the roads, all of that rain is really going to melt the snow. So we're talking about slushy mess. But certainly conditions will be a bit better tomorrow because temperatures will warm up if you're trying to travel. Here's a look at the coastal regions, and this is your general forecast for today. It is definitely going to be wet across 2/3 of the province and wet for the next 2 days across the Metro Vancouver region. Jen, back to you.
Whew, it is a lot of rain. Be careful out there, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Kristi. All right, so the other top story we're tracking today is the rainfall warning and situation that we're looking at. Hey, Kristi?
Thanks so much, Jen. So yes, rainfall warning in place for parts of the south coast. I'll show you that in a second. So far across Metro Vancouver, we've had 10 to 16 millimeters of rain, and we have a ton more on the way. Really urging drivers to give yourself extra time. Pooling water on the roads, reduce visibility, and especially if you're traveling the mountain passes, we're talking about significant snow, and you can see that here. Snow in through the central interior regions, lower elevations across the southern interior regions. It's just rain now, but we are certainly looking at widespread snow there and heavy rain all across coastal regions. And this is the pattern that's going to continue throughout the day today. It's an atmospheric river. It's not a very long tail, doesn't go all the way down to sort of that subtropics, but it is bringing substantial amount of rainfall. So when we look at an AR scale, this is being classified as about an AR2 for our outer coast regions. So mostly beneficial, but some hazards could be some localized flooding over low-lying areas. This is a 48-hour event, and during that time period, we're talking about 110 millimeters for the North Shore Fraser Valley and 130 for the outer coast of Vancouver Island, and it includes what we saw last night. So we'll continue to see the rainfall today and throughout the day on Monday. In terms of the freezing level, I want to quickly show you this. It is going to climb. It's going to climb to about 1,500 meters today, about 2,500 tomorrow, and then particularly higher as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. And so we're going to see a slushy mess as everything transitions to rain. So although we're talking about snow on the mountains today, it will be rainfall tomorrow, and so it will be very slushy and tough for driving, I think, tomorrow, because all of that rain will cause the snow to melt, and so the highways could be a really, really tough go tomorrow.
Welcome back. Time for a check on that rainy weather forecast with Kristi.
Thanks so much, Jen. So this is the culprit here, atmospheric river or a big rainstorm. We're talking about a level sort of 1 or 2 where we're going to see in excess of 100 millimeters of rain through a 48-hour period. So this is today and into tomorrow. Freezing levels are going to climb as well. So today we're anticipating freezing levels to be up to about 1,500 meters, and then they begin to soar Tuesday, Wednesday. The good news for the mountains is that we are going to get the most substantial rainfall today while we have those lower freezing levels, and that's what we want. We don't want too much warm rain well up to the top of the mountains and it melts all that snow, but it is going to climb, that's for sure. And we do have some still moisture on the way Tuesday and Wednesday, but I wanted to show you this in terms of daytime highs. Look at the trend that we're going to see across Metro Vancouver, up to 15 degrees on Wednesday. I know you see a lot of rain in those icons, but it should be a little bit lighter compared to what we're seeing right now, but nonetheless certainly moisture on the way, and that's the case for those of you in the Okanagan. Look at that big increase in temperature as well. So in terms of the roads, we're going to see significant snow on the highways today, and then tomorrow it transitions to rain. So all of that snow will then become quite a slushy mess, and there's concern about difficult travel. So today a lot of areas will see just rain for lower elevations, and those of you in the central interior regions, I know you're starting off with snow, but you can expect it to just transition to rain during the day. And again, your roads will also be a slushy mess today. So very wet indeed over the next little while. Jen, 5-day forecast is showing not much of improvement other than the temperatures are going to climb. Over to you. Well, good afternoon to everyone. It's certainly a wet day out there today, but this is a great part of my day where we get to celebrate birthdays. Bill Hutcherson is celebrating 101 years today in the South Surrey area. Bill, happy birthday to you from all of us here at Global. I hope you're managing to stay dry, and I hope you're having a great day. We have an atmospheric river across the region. It's not a classic one that's bringing in that subtropical heat, but temperatures are going to climb in the days to come, but not necessarily today. It's tomorrow into Tuesday and Wednesday. So we have had snow in the interior regions, but most areas at lower elevations in the interior are now seeing rain, and it is going to be mainly a rain event all across 2/3 of the province. But higher elevations, we're looking at snowfall. If you're doing any traveling, anticipate significant snow on the mountain passes. These are the areas across the south coast that are under warning. So this is a 2-day event, all day today and tomorrow, where we could see up to 130 millimeters on the outer coast and the inner coast up to 110 millimeters of rain. The concerns are generally this system is going to bring in a beneficial moisture, but some hazards could be minor flooding over low-lying areas, pooling water on the roads, and reduced visibility on the roads. So slow down while you can, and river levels will be unpredictable. So be very careful in and around rivers and creeks because they could rise rapidly. This is the warming trend that we're expecting for the Metro Vancouver region. By Wednesday, we're talking about 15 degrees. However, the most significant moisture is still while it's a little bit cooler. So that's good news. As we head towards Wednesday, the precipitation becomes much more light, and so we're hoping that not a ton of snow melts. And here's a look at the freezing levels as they climb towards Wednesday. So today, the North Shore Mountains by the end of the day will likely see rainfall, and then in the days to come we'll continue with rain, but it won't be substantial heavy rain like what we're seeing today. So this is the forecast across the region, with mostly areas seeing snowfall, except tonight a transition to rain for the Coquihalla, and we're certainly going to see rain across the other regions. So very wet today indeed. Most areas expecting periods of rain. Prince George, Williams Lake, it started off with snowfall, but that is changing to rainfall. And there's your 5-day forecast with 2 wet days ahead. Tuesday we only have a 40% chance of showers, and then a few more showers are set to shift in on Wednesday, but certainly a warming trend on the way. Not great weather for anyone who's not skiing over the sort of spring break next week. Hopefully you can find some indoor activities for the kids. Jen, over to you.
Yeah, no kidding. Thanks, Kristi.
A rainfall warning remains in effect for the Metro Vancouver region. We've already had substantial rainfall throughout the day today, and it will continue overnight as we drop down to a very mild 8 degrees. So the freezing level is climbing, and it will continue to stay high throughout the day tomorrow. So a lot of the mountain passes will see a transition to rain, and we will continue to see rain here across Metro Vancouver. It has meant for difficult driving on the road.
And senior meteorologist Kristi Gordon joins us now with a look at the weather forecast for the week ahead. Kristi.
Thanks so much, Sarah. It's certainly been a wet day because of this system here driving that moisture onto the coast. We've seen rainfall even at lower elevations across the interior regions, but significant snow all across the mountain passes. Now, we are going to see the freezing level low climb as we continue through the evening hours, and that means through the overnight period, a lot of areas will see a transition to rain. That includes the Whistler area, but through the sort of early evening hours, we still could see some snow or wet snow in those regions. Nonetheless, these are the rainfall warnings that are in place. So by the end of the day tomorrow, we're expecting 130 millimeters on the outer coast and 110 millimeters of rain through the inner coast. This is in addition to what we've seen already. Another big concern is areas like the Kootenay region, where they've had substantial snowfall, and that includes the mountain passes, and now it's going to change over to rain, and it's just going to be a slushy mess. The concerns for the south coast are these: minor flooding over low-lying areas, pooling water on the roads and reduced visibility. Give yourself extra time for any kind of travel, and steer clear of rivers because the river levels will be unpredictable and may rise rapidly. As I talked about, the freezing level is going to continue to climb tomorrow and into the next few days. The most substantial rainfall happened today and will continue to tomorrow. But as we head towards sort of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, there'll be less rainfall, thankfully, because we don't want a lot of that snow to melt and create sort of more problems. But in terms of the highways, it does mean better conditions. But because we've had substantial snowfall today, a lot of areas still expecting snowfall overnight, like the Kootenay Pass, Rogers Pass area, but we'll see a transition to rain. And so we're really looking at slushy conditions on the roads after that snow starts to melt. In the meantime, northern regions will see bright skies, so a clearing trend for areas like Prince George, but we still have a chance of showers across the southern interior regions, particularly the Columbia and the Kootenay region and the south coast. So rain still in the forecast for the day tomorrow, mild with a high of 12 degrees. And then, as I mentioned, we're expecting less precipitation Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as those freezing levels climb and the temperatures warm up. So that is good news. We don't want too much snow melt, but it's certainly not great news for areas lower down. Kids are off on spring break right now, so it's not looking like a great week indeed. Sarah, back to you.
No kidding. Thanks, Kristi. When will the rain end?
Enough. I've had enough of the rain.
Enough.